Hi there.
Hi.
So yeah,
Issue.
I don't know where. Well, I was out and about, but a little bit yesterday. But one of the things we wanted to talk about today is sort of what Olympia Dukakis in the news that she had passed away. Um, was that yesterday? That
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I guess it must have been Saturday morning because I heard pretty early on. I feel like I heard it
did
pretty
they
early on because I
say
felt like I thought about
they
her all
did say
day.
some things like she hadn't been well for a few weeks, but did they even disclose what it was?
Mm-mm. They have not
She was older
disclosed.
than I thought she was because I think one of the things as I was like reading and remembering her yesterday was, how late in life she came into acting, which is kind of like so odd. And it's not one of those people that had played, character actresses for 50 years and they get their big break. Like she really fell into her big break, like it was like mid to late 50s, I
I
think.
know. Well, she was doing Broadway before that, though. I
Right.
mean, she had been acting and everything,
Not
but it was
lucrative type of stuff.
no, not like yeah. So I think Moonstruck was it. Moonstruck was her, and I know that we're going all kinds of places with this, but uncanny their resemblance. Olympia Dukakis and Cher. There was a couple things, and I don't know if they did it on purpose. Because, like looking at her, I don't know if I necessarily see it all the time. But in the film, there were times where I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Cher's mama."
Yeah, it's and I think the reason that I didn't realize that she was, 89 is she's date stamped at that age that she played in Moonstruck to me. Like she is eternally that age. Like that is her age and everything that she ever did. I never once thought of her in any other age than the one that she played, Cher's
I
mother.
know, because like Steel Magnolias, like it's that same.
She's
I'm
the
thinking,
same age. Like she's
yeah.
timeless in that age. It's like that is such a sweet spot. And even recent interviews I'd seen of her, she really looked exactly the same to me as well. But I couldn't remember because if you had told me where do I remember her from first, um, I was off a little bit because what came to mind was when she is the head of the temp agency in Working Girl, and
Ah,
Melanie Griffith has to go back after quitting, her job, and she tells Melanie Griffith, like, Tess, we can only three strikes you're out or whatever it is. So to me, that was the first time I thought I saw her.
oh my
It
gosh.
wasn't that followed Moonstruck,
Get
that
it.
was the
Okay.
year. So
See, there were things close together, but once she got Moonstruck, she like boom, 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 boom. There was so many.
and I think that yeah, that was sort of the staging of it. I don't know that I'm right. I know that um, Moonstruck kind of landed and was released in a bizarre kind of way. So if you told me that she'd done Working Girl, before Moonstruck, and it was just the release schedule or stuff. But yeah, that's where I remember her so
Oh
predominantly.
my gosh. See, I hadn't. You just saying that, I go, oh my God.
But yeah, I can, I mean, I think that like I always think to myself, there's if it's like those people that are one hit wonders, like I would be completely happy being a one hit wonder. And she was in no way a one hit wonder. But to me, if you did only one movie and it was Moonstruck, what an
I
amazing.
know. And that glitz and that like when she's sitting across the table from her husband and she says, like leave her
Mhm.
about his mistress. I was like, oh, and the tension, talk about tension that caused like the whole like there's already tension because there's Cher and Nicolas Cage sitting there and they're waiting for the guy, her fiance, to show up. And then they say that and they're all like me. And even the really old grandfather howling at the moon grandfather with the dogs is like, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you could talk about that forever because it's just such a magical movie. I bought the Criterion Collection, really did a release of it at the end of last year that I haven't watched, so I'm gonna have to watch that.
Oh yeah.
There's so much from that movie, when she goes to the dinner by herself, and I love when she wakes up and said, "Who died?" when Cher comes home to tell her.
You're standing there. It's her first line of the movie, which is kind of creepy
Yeah,
considering she died. It was like the first thing she said, first thing out of her mouth in the movie.
And you know, I think she goes on and she does like you know, I think she goes on and she does kind of Steel Magnolias and that kind of like same I guess few years after she had done that, and she's pretty great in that as well. But what I remember her as is from Tales of the City, that miniseries she did based on the Amistad Maupin books, Tales of the City.
Did not see it.
She plays you know, Anna Madrigal, you know, and she runs like a boarding house in San Francisco for sort of you know, stray young kids that come to town either to find gay life that they couldn't have anywhere else, or, you know, Laura Linney's in it and she's this ingenue that comes to the city because of for whatever reason. But it's it was on PBS, like, and so yeah, so
oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to
from that.
find
So
that.
if you haven't seen Tales of the City, not the new one that Netflix did, because there are some horrible, but
There's probably all kinds of Tales of the Cities out there. I'll look for the Olympia
I
Dukakis.
lost track of her in recent years. I'm gonna have to go to her IMDb page and go back and watch some of the stuff that she did, you know.
I'm looking right now. There's so many. I remember this Digger in '93. I forget what it was, but it was one of those. I think it was with the little boy from Little Man Tate, maybe.
Yeah, and see, I remember, you know, like sort of, I remember, you know, I think she's a voice of, you know, of something. Isn't she a voice in?
Look who's talking.
I can't remember which one, but I do remember that. I also remember how weird it was when she won her Oscar for Moonstruck. It wasn't weird. It was her brother, Michael Dukakis, was running for what in government at that point?
Governor, probably, of Massachusetts at the time.
Yes, because
or was he running for president at the time? I'm not sure.
He was on a ticket somewhere. Enough that she mentions him in the speech. I don't know if she mentions him in hers, but she's from Massachusetts.
She's from Lowell, Massachusetts, where my father's family was from, where my grandmother lived, and she's a year younger than my mother and grew up like a town. My mom grew up in Billerica, Mass, which is like the town over, right, all in Western Massachusetts there. And some of the schools, I didn't go to the same school. I noticed that, but then I was like, wow, like a lot of my family grew up in Western Massachusetts and were her age. So I'm just wondering if anybody ever kind of rubbed elbows with Olympia Dukakis. That'd be kind of cool. Though, I mean, I did see that there's a biography out about her, where she talks quite a bit about her young life and a lot of the bigotry against Greek immigrants during the time. So I want to say that she was la-di-da, like I had said before, like a little bit more than my very poor family in Massachusetts. I think they might have had a little bit more money, but they definitely had some crazy stuff going on as far as bigotry towards their family.
No, it's very, very bittersweet. Again, it is, I'm going to have to go into it. We'll have to find something in her IMDb page to watch together or to revisit together. Or
we could try House Party on one of her movies, maybe.
Was she in a movie called House Party?
No, House Party is...
What? It sounds like one of those like kid and play kind of movies from the 90s. I was like, what?
There's one called Over the Hill that she's probably hilarious.
There's one called The Cemetery Club that I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to dig through. So maybe we can find a watch party to live stream for our one follower on YouTube. So on that note, yeah, it was fun to talk about this because I know
I'm glad I didn't have to use the tissues. She'd rather have us laughing, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's just, it does when, you know, and you could just do a whole show just on Moonstruck when there's so much magic in that movie and so much magic every time she appears in it. So
and chemistry between her and all the characters, like even like her short little stint with Nicolas Cage was beautiful. Like I loved that. Like just anyway, she's magical and wonderful, and the world will miss her.
Yes, very much so. So we'll find that movie to do one of those fancy watch parties that people are all doing now. And we'll do that.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
like fun. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.